everyone, welcome back to Moms versus Aunts. It's my favorite time of week. It's my favorite time to drink with my bestie. I'm Kiki Monique. You might know me as the Talk of Shame. Got my bestie here, Vanessa.
Hey y'all, it's Vanessa, the hostess next door.
We love to meet once a week, have some cocktails together, catch up on everything that's happening in our worlds and in your worlds too. And I'm actually, it's like getting really warm now, and I am starting to just get excited about being able to travel again. And I went on my first road trip this weekend, and it was like the first time
that
I got to go somewhere, and it was interesting. It was interesting. I'm excited to talk about that. So we're going to talk about vacation because the world is opening up, and vacation life looks a lot different than what it did 2 years ago.
Right?
And so I'm excited to talk about that. Of course, we always have the hustle of the week because, in order to afford these vacations, we need that dough. We need those side hustles. So Vanessa's going to bring us the hustle of the week. And then we always have, of course, the cool down. We're just going to share a crazy story that maybe you haven't heard about.
I love your cool downs, by the way.
Well, I love your drinks. So what are we going to be sipping on today?
Yes. All right. So I was thinking about that we're going to be talking about what does vacation look like post-pandemic, and vacation made me think of vacation drinks. Me and you are really damn good at laying by somebody's beach or pool and having someone bring us drinks. We're super, super good at it. And we always order the most tropical things. Like, I think we think we're in a movie sometimes. So if we're not ordering a pina colada, we are ordering a daiquiri. And I wanted to teach everyone how to make a daiquiri. So this is not a daiquiri that's like Senor Frog slushy machine daiquiri. Like, the actual daiquiri it created in 1898. And it's a drink that we received from the beautiful people of Cuba. So it is only 3 ingredients, actually, and it is not slushy. And it's great. It's so good. It goes down so easy, and you can drink about 3 or 4 of them in a row. So
I think so many people think of daiquiris. They automatically think of, that frozen machine that pours out in like a little Slurpee fashion.
Yeah, that's actually like not. I think what happened was the real daiquiri evolved into a frozen daiquiri, and then like everything Americans, we just got to take it all the way there. All of a sudden, is a million flavors, and there's floaters on top, and we can't. We always got to do everything like so extra. But an actual daiquiri. So you're gonna start with 2 ounces of rum. Any rum works. Technically, it's supposed to be light rum, like a white rum, but whatever, use whatever kind of rum you like. 1 ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice. That's like gotta be fresh. We've had conversations about the janky lime juice. And then you're going to use 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. And if you can make your simple syrup with like sugar in the raw, like that sugar in the raw kind of sugar, turbinado or demerara, like either one of those kind of sugars, it's actually a little bit more authentic and tastier. But whatever, if you have regular simple syrup, that's cool. Anyways, shake the whole thing in a cocktail shaker with ice, really, really cold. Strain it into a coupe glass. It's served up. And if you feel very fancy, you can garnish with like a lime twist. But that is your daiquiri. And it is so good because that rum, after you've had a couple of them, start feeling yourself. It is so tasty. And I think the fresh lime, it's just a very balanced drink. Not too sweet, not too tart. It kind of just has everything. I love it.
It sounds very similar to the skinny margarita. You just swap out the tequila for rum, it sounds like.
Yeah, super similar. Yeah. I would say super similar. The skinny margarita had that what is it? Orange liqueur, the Cointreau or the Grand Marnier, because we made ours Cadillac. If you want to make it the Cadillac, yeah. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, definitely similar.
Okay, so yeah, if you like a skinny marg, but maybe you like rum more than the
Yeah.
daiquiri
I
is
promise
your
not to
friend.
make a gimlet next week, which is also similar, but with like vodka or gin. Clearly, we like booze with very fresh lime juice shaken cold over ice.
Well, I feel like, yeah, for me, like summer begins when I have that first pina colada. Like I do need that frozen, like even though I will eventually, switch over to just like, over ice drinks. I feel like the minute I hit that, lounge chair, I just want that like delicious pina colada. And then I can immediately be like, I am on vacation. I love
So
it.
wait,
But,
tell me, I
it was
saw
so
the
funny
pictures
because
from your, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was just going to tell you because, like, that was like, it was so interesting, because, you know, I normally travel pretty often, because, again, life of an auntie. The only thing holding me back are my cats, and I have sitters for that. But, like, I feel like before everything, I was on a plane at least once a month, even if it was like for work or whatever. I was going somewhere. And so, just sitting here has been, you don't realize it, right? It's the same every day. And so this road trip, it was really for a birthday party, which was a rescheduling of a birthday party because the original birthday party had gotten canceled. So
Mm.
it's, it was in Palm Springs or close to Palm Springs, in the desert. I love the desert and I love just driving through the desert. And so it was at this really cute, resort place. And, it was just, you're secluded. We basically had the place to ourselves. We had rented out the whole place ourselves. It's like just a small little resort. It sits on hot springs. And so it's all outdoors, really. You only go to your room to sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially the whole time you're just like at one of the many spring pools. And so that was super awesome. It was the first time I had not touched my phone for like really for 2 days. Like I wasn't on
Oh,
social media.
wow.
I didn't even open my laptop. I mean, I brought my laptop expecting to do maybe a little bit of work. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
even crack open the laptop. It was so nice. And what was interesting was, when I got back, me and our friend who we who I traveled with, we were both like so like on that Monday. Mondays are already hard anyways, but we were especially really just like feeling low. And, we were trying to figure out why. And I said, legitimately, I think what happened was our serotonin levels had risen so high because we had just been
Mm-hmm.
not on vacation in so long. They had gotten to heights they had not seen in 2 years. And so when all of that depleted, once we got back, it just hit us
Mm.
harder than like a normal, Sunday to
Yeah.
Monday return, right? Like you always have Monday
Yeah.
blues, but this felt extra. Like I was not in the mood. And I was like, wow, this is why you have to sort of like, it's
Uh-huh.
important to keep, the activities
Yep.
going.
Post vacation blues. You wished you were still there. Reality started to set back in. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so how long were you there for? 3 days?
It was basically like a long weekend. It was like leave early Friday, Friday, Saturday, come back, Sunday afternoon. So, you have time to sort of like decompress and like do the Sunday
Mm-hmm.
scaries at home. But yeah, the Sunday scaries got transferred over to Monday scaries.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just like a long weekend, but it was nice.
Yeah, that sounds nice. I've been thinking too about like road tripping seems almost like the easiest way to travel because you're in your own car. Like I like the idea like you just drove out to the desert like rather than trying to do the whole airport thing because I mean you still have to mask up and all of that. And I have this idea. I think a lot of people, especially if you have kids, are going to be trying to figure out how to do summer vacations like more local or at least domestic travel. Like I'm wondering if people are going to be traveling internationally as much. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I know that like that news came out recently that the EU was going to open up their borders to vaccinated citizens, US citizens specifically, because, they were like keeping us out for a while. So they were opening their borders, and there are like, some countries that say they will allow, vaccinated US citizens. But what's crazy is that, my neighbor, I was just talking to him the other day, he has to fly just from California, and he has to go to New Orleans for like a bachelorette party. and then he has to go to his parents' house that was like close by, and then he has to fly back. And I've normally done like a multi-leg trip, even cross country, and I've never probably paid more than like, maybe $700. He got everything one way, $1,000. One way,
Whoa.
$1,000.
Whoa.
And that really sort of was like, wow, what is this? Is this also, because this will definitely limit my vacation life as well. If the airline prices are out of control,
Yeah.
then I will definitely be doing way more road trips.
Yeah. It's kind of like, what the hell? Because, the airlines got a huge bailout. It's not like it's not like they struggled as much as some other industries did. I feel like they were bailed out first. And I did see something in the news that like air travel specifically, the prices have spiked very high in the last 4 to 6 weeks. And it's just kind of like, come on, guys, like we all need to get out, and don't do that to us. Don't do that.
Yeah, like you definitely, you got the bailouts, and who didn't get the bailouts are these cities that rely on tourists. So if anything,
Right.
you should be making a deal with these cities to help bring people in so that we can like get the economy like, jump started again. Like, don't prohibit us, because
I know.
yeah, we'll just,
I'm interested with this EU thing because, like, yeah, like, okay, they're going to let us go travel freely through Europe if we're vaccinated. But then, like, what is going on in the individual countries? Like, am I going to go to Italy, but then I'm going to go to Italy and, like, everything's still closed? Like, what is I think I'm curious to know, like, how up and running, how open are the countries if you do get a chance to go visit Greece, or if you go to Paris or wherever, like, are you still going to get to do all the things you normally would have? Are you going to go to the Louvre? Are you going to go to wherever? Or is everything still kind of closed? Does it make sense to travel to Europe? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, I didn't go up into the Eiffel Tower like the one time I went to Paris, but I know our friend did. And I remember she sending a video of like inside of like the elevator. I don't know how big that elevator is, but it's like, yeah, like, are you allowed to like let multiple people? If so, like the line to get in the elevator would be super long while people waiting to get up. Museums. I mean, I actually did go to some museums in upstate New York during like not the tail end, we're still in it, but like
Mm-hmm.
after like, a year. And they were open, and, you had to wear masks, and I think they were ticketed time. So I think here's the thing. I love a lot of the protocol that has been set up with, COVID, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't like crowds. You know me. You know me forever. I don't like crowds. That's why I don't like to go to like huge music festivals anymore. But like the idea of like, oh, I get a certain time to go, and I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
like, perfect. I'm all about that life. I think it's all about that. Everything will be
Right.
more regulated in terms of that, which I'm cool with.
I am too. I mean, what's so funny is that the EU, the here's the fine print. Americans traveling through the EU that are fully vaccinated are allowed to travel freely. And they also said unvaccinated people from certain countries, the ones who know how to act, like Australia, are also allowed to travel freely through Europe. So they're going to be like maybe a little bit shady towards us, as they should, because they'll be like, oh, these Americans. I mean, they'll know that we're fully vaccinated if we're there. But I can just imagine them being like, y'all did not have your shit together. And maybe not everybody being so nice when you get there. Like certain
Oh
countries
yeah.
already are shitty with Americans, but we didn't handle our shit really well. And I can see them being like, yeah, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
I love the way, yeah, like the news talks around like certain countries, because we know they're talking about us,
They're
because they're
talking about
like,
us.
we were the only ones really acting a fool. And so
Acting a
they're just
fool.
like, well, certain individuals from certain countries. And I'm like, just say it. It's us. We are the rebel children who like nobody wants. Like, just send us away,
Yeah.
because like
Like,
we were
totally.
terrible. I mean, did you see that picture? Madison Square Garden had their first like, Knicks game the other
Oh,
night.
yeah.
And there was that picture that had been going around where the section of the vaccinated people was like full, and it looked like, a basketball game again. And then they had this section with like the non-vaccinated people, and, it was like socially distanced, and they're all sort of just like by themselves. And at the first I like, was like just kind of laughing laughing because I was like, okay, I guess like if that's the life you choose, like you live on your island and that's where you live. But then I was like, wait, I don't like crowds. Wait, maybe I have to start lying and saying I'm not vaccinated so I can still
Yeah,
be
so you can
socially
go be in the
distanced.
socially distance, but then you have to wear a mask. You're
That's
like,
the
oh,
downside. Like you still got
that's
to
the
wear a mask.
downside.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to have to
exactly.
wear a mask, but you want everybody to back the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. Like get away, give me my
Get away
space.
from me, though. I mean, here's the thing. I will say that, if possible, I kind of feel like I should travel domestically for the next like little while. And my reason is that like I'm a small business owner and like I would rather spend my dollars on like other people who have businesses that support the travel industry. Like there's all these like new like I'm into like the new green book where you get to support like other black owned businesses all over the country if you're traveling by car. So I mean there's a part of me that would love to, I can't wait to start traveling internationally again. There's another part of me that's like, it's fine, it'll be there, let me wait for everything to settle down. There's plenty of places and sites right here in the US of A that I can travel to and also like support other businesses, that work in service. Cause people, I mean, it's coming back, but it's still like here in New York, people cannot find like restaurant staff. Like it's been really crazy. It's not opening up as quickly and as successfully as people would have you believe. So right now I'd rather put my dollars into local businesses if I can. That's just me.
That makes total sense. And like I've always had the dream of doing like cross country road trips, and this is really an excuse to get to do that. I don't know if I'll do cross country right now, but I will do now that I have a car again. Like why not? Like I've always wanted to drive up to Oregon or Washington or like see those states, and it's beautiful west. So it'll be a good excuse to do that. And yeah, I agree, like being able to just like give back to like the hospitality industry that was so decimated. I mean, what was crazy was when our friend, we were on that group chat, she had sent she's all into real estate. She's always like specking real estate, looking at real estate. She loves real estate.
Our friend that owns like 4 houses.
Yeah, she's like one of the amazing ones. I just like I never get people who I envy those people who know how to do that stuff. But she had said that I think specifically like in the Northeast where a lot of people, live in the city, they have like these small apartments and then they have like a vacation home, and the vacation home they don't use most of the year. But now they've been using the vacation home for the last 2 years because they're like, I don't want to be in my cramped small apartment. And so she was saying how the inventory was super low for second home and rentals, because, in the midst of everything, when I would go on Airbnb, I could find like so many cheap rentals. It was awesome. Like you could kind of experience like living in a bunch of places because people were like just looking for income. But now that they've kind of made those second homes their residences, in the Northeast at least, it's like harder to find vacation rentals, which is kind of interesting too, because now you have to get even more creative about where where you're going to stay. Because I like staying in like quirky places. I love a hotel though, I will admit, like room service and all that. Like, but also room service doesn't even exist in the same form. Like, I don't know if you've been to a hotel recently. Room service is like, no, they're like, you can come down, you can pick up. Like there was a bar in the front desk. They were like, you can come pick it up and then, we'll charge you at the front desk and you bring it back to your room. There's no like bringing food to your room.
There's no room service?
No, because it's like, they're going to avoid contact. Now, maybe that's again increasing, but at the time I was staying in hotels, room service did not exist. Which for
because
me,
everything's contactless.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I do remember flying and like the drinks were like only wine with like a screw top or like a soft drink with like a in a can, and then even the food was all prepackaged and wrapped in plastic and all of that. So no, you're not getting real food, you're not getting a mixed drink. So I guess hotels aren't ready to do that yet either.
Which is
Yeah, that's
another reason
crazy.
why like airlines keep it down. You're still going to keep those prepackaged options and hand me my little water bottle. So stop acting
Mm-hmm.
like you're spending money on all this stuff. Stop
Mm-hmm.
it.
It's
Like
so
you're not
true.
increasing your cleaning. You should have been cleaning to that level already. So stop it.
Yeah, they are like not even double dipping. They're like triple dipping. They make me so and I don't have like I'm so bad. I don't even have like a rewards program. So I'm partial to a couple airlines, but like I'm also just kind of like whatever sometimes. I mean, there's ones I will never fly. I'm not flying on Spirit or the other one, Frontier. Like, nah,
Yeah.
it's not happening.
Yeah.
But like, I'm usually just trying to figure out a good rate. And it drives me bananas that once your kid is 2 years old, that is a full fare seat. Like, so if I
Oh
want to
God.
travel by plane with my kids, I have to buy 3 full fare round trip tickets to go
Oh
anywhere.
my.
It's such a game
Oh,
changer. That's
that
why, I mean, but
is.
like legit, it feels like when we were growing up, like my parents, I think we went on trips where we went like by airplane very rarely. I might be able to count, it might have been 2 or 3 trips. And it was literally because we were going to like, once we went to Haiti, can't drive there.
Mm-hmm.
But we drove one time. My aunt lived in my aunt that I love that I was telling you about, who was very glamorous and had no kids. She lived in Montreal, which I also thought was so cool. She lived in
Mm-hmm.
Montreal and she spoke French and she worked for a translation company for 35 years. But it's all like the callback is crazy.
Yeah.
But we were living in Chicago at the time. And yeah, my parents were like, we're going to Canada. And we drove from Chicago to Montreal. It's like an 18-hour drive with 2 kids in the back. Like, it takes like, are we there yet, to such another level. Like, I would never do that, but I get why, like, parents opt for road trips. Once you have like more than one kid, that's just mad expensive. Like, nobody's
Yeah.
doing that. Nobody's doing
So
that. You start being
expensive.
like, where can I go that's 5 hours or less by car? Like, where can I go? Where can I go?
My mom like hated to fly, so I didn't get on my first flight till I was like 21, and it was to visit you when you lived in
Oh
Atlanta. That was my
yeah, I
first plane
remember.
ride I ever took. So like growing up, that was my life, was like vacation. Are we there? Are we there yet? We spent a lot of time going to like South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So that was
Mm-hmm.
like a whole. If we went through the night, maybe an 8-hour drive, but stopping maybe 10. The longest though, and it was the final straw, was to Florida to go to Disney
Yes.
World. And that
Oh
was the final
no.
straw. I said, absolutely not. I am never doing this again in the minivan with no. Mm-mm.
Do they
Mm-mm.
still have? We did Florida once too, and that's like definitely some old bullshit when you live in the Northeast anywhere, or even Virginia, where we grew up. Do you remember driving to Florida and they had those like south of the border signs?
Oh,
Do you
south of the
remember
border
those?
is my favorite place ever. I mean, I just went there recently. Like, if we did not stop at south of the border, I was mad. Like, we had to stop at south of the border.
But like, I'm convinced that south of the border was like in bed with Florida because it gave like kids something to like look forward to, because the signs were always like the countdown. It was like
Oh yeah.
however 100 miles, 90 miles, 80 miles. So you would just be like, oh, we're getting somewhere. And then you could actually like stop there and do a whole south of the border thing before you got to get your ass back in the
Yeah.
car because you still ain't got to Florida yet.
Yeah.
Like,
Still, yeah. We're
you
just
still have a
south of,
ways to go.
yeah, we're south of some border that is nowhere near Florida. We still
That
have
is
several hours to
not on the
drive.
border.
No,
But like,
no, not on.
whatever. I wonder if they still have that. But yeah,
Oh
no.
yeah,
I
I took some pictures there maybe a couple years ago. It's amazing.
So yeah, I need folks to send us like some voice messages or some emails to let us know like some really great domestic travel destinations for, well, that you could take kids, but also ones that you could just go on like girls trips or something, because I know there's got to be places I'm just not hip to. that are good places to travel right here.
And like that's another thing because we all haven't seen, our friends. We've been with our family this whole time. And I know like you definitely want a girls trip. Like you've seen your kids 24 hours a day for several days a week. And we want to get a girls trip organized and like, but that might be hard, right? Like with people with kids, like, the kids also want to go on vacation. And so, I don't know what your thoughts are, like if we start planning girls trip, are you going to bring your kids? Do you think that like the girls who don't have kids are going to be like no kids allowed because it's going to be my first time out? Like I don't know, or you think that's going to be weird? I mean, I don't know, like I normally don't care about kids as long as it's not impeding the party. Like if there is like a kid who's just like doing its own thing. I'm not going to do kid friendly things though on vacation. I will say that. Like I'm not a big Disneyland person. It's not my thing. Beach can be hard.
No, I am not. I don't know. I don't like those people. I'm not friends with those people. I don't bring my kids on vacations with my friends unless I'm like traveling with my friends who also have kids. And this is a trip that we have like organized that the kids are going and parents are going. I'm not sneaking my kids into like a girls trip situation. They are completely different styles of vacationing and I don't believe in overlapping. Like no thank you.
Well, what do you think? So this is interesting. So this happened on like a Real Housewives of Atlanta episode. So they were taking Cynthia, who was getting married on a bachelorette trip to South Carolina. Again, road trips, because even reality TV, the luxury trips that we're used to have been relegated to road trips.
Road trips. Yeah. Road trip.
Here we are. So they take her to South Carolina for this bachelorette party. And when they get there, they discover that Kenya has brought her nanny and her like 1-year-old baby girl. And everybody was like, and there was 3 other girls in the group who also had young kids of around the same age. And they were like, well, if we had known that this was a trip that we were going to bring kids, then like, why wouldn't you have told us? And she just sort of like brushed it off. Like, well, I'm a single mom and like, I don't, all of this. And it's like, yeah, but you could have made that an option for us. It was just interesting because also the type of trip it was, like they had a stripper bolo come. It wasn't it was like, oh no, it was a bachelorette party. So even though the baby was being, taken care of by a nanny, in a separate place, it still just seemed like an odd trip to bring your kid. And if you, again, if you would then just allow the other ladies, I would think, to just bring their kids so that they could be taken care of. Because I think that most people, if given the option, no, you're like not given the option. I still not.
Listen, I hate everything about that story. Because like, first of all, like you're not going to have your kid on my girls trip. Like I have a homegirl who lives very close by and we both have kids and we love our kids and we're both single parents. And when her kids are with their dad, like for the weekend, she like barely even comes to see me. And I get it. Like you are child free for the weekend. You don't want to go hang out with somebody else's kids. You want to like be child free for the weekend. She loves my kids, but like, honestly, I would do the exact same thing. And if I'm child free and everybody's child free and we're on vacation and that one girl going to bring her baby, like, no, like that's just so unfair. And also, she's going to like kind of be looking like, if the baby needs something, she's going to look at the other mom friends like, hey, like, no. And I don't want to be censoring myself. Yeah, I want to be dropping F-bombs and doing what I want to do. Like, I don't want to behave the way I behave when there's children around because it was supposed to be a girls' trip. So, like, she's super trash for that. And second of all, like, I hate to break it to you guys, but, like, the first, like, year and a half, like, sit down. I mean, I'm sorry. You don't just get to go outside and play with your friends like you normally did. You had a baby. You said you're going to have to skip the girls' trip that year. And like, women are always so stressed out about like how their life is going to change and all of that. And like, it does change. It changes in a lot of really amazing ways. But yeah, sometimes you're going to have to deal with a little bit of FOMO. I can't tell you how many weddings and like weekends that I missed out on, but like, I'm also like, I wouldn't take away like having children because I didn't get to go to that wedding. BT dubs, all the weddings I missed, all those people are divorced. It's fine. So like, whatever. But but like you don't do that to people. You don't and a bachelorette, she knew better. That's like, I don't watch that show, but that's trash. I don't know who that is, but you don't do that. If I plan a family trip with kids, it's like my friend that lives upstate, she has kids around the same age. We're planning like a weekend where all the kids can play together. And you really want to do it like that. Like the more the merrier. Get a bunch of kids that are across different ages. The older ones kind of look out for the little ones. And then like the moms and the aunties get to still kind of chill and drink their wine and hang out. And the kids are almost like their own little community. You know what I mean? You want to like plan. There's a way to plan really fun trips that include kids and parents, and you can do that, but don't bring your kid on the girls trip. You will get clowned.
I think it's all about the non-surprise. Like, yeah, you can plan it. It's like, don't just, show up with your kid. If I know in advance that it's like a kid weekend, then I can prepare for it. And like, I'm around, even though I don't think if people are planning a kids trip, I don't think I tend to get those invites, even though me and the kids would have a great time. I think that people just assume that I'm going to be like, no, but like, I can have fun and like, water guns and slip and slides. I'm a big kid because I'm the auntie. So I still want to participate on those as long as I know in advance if that's what it is.
And that's the thing. You just like, you can, of course, aunties are invited, but there is a full disclosure. Like there's going to be a bunch of kids like, and then they can like make the choice if they want to go or not. It's like, sometimes people want to go. There's good family fun to be had, but like, you don't surprise people like that with a kid and everybody. It's a bachelorette. Nobody was expecting an infant to be there.
And like I told you in our first episode, like the best thing about having your kids around is they love me so much that I have little waiters. They like to bring me snacks and they like to bring me drinks. It's so nice.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So we asked you guys what your summer vacation plans were for this year and how, if in any way, they are different from previous summers. And this is what you had to say.
Hey, this is Alicia from BK, and this summer is going to be a pretty chill and laid back one. I want to travel, but I'm still a little iffy with the COVID thing, so I'm going to do a lot of things here in Brooklyn and maybe within the tri-state area, but I haven't built up the courage yet to fly. But I cannot wait to hop on a plane and put my feet in some nice soft white sands and some clear blue waters in 2022. Thanks, guys.
We're renting a home in Savannah with all of my friends, and I don't think I would have ever done that pre-2020, but I've missed all of our friends so dearly that it actually sounds worth my time and energy, if that makes sense. I love your podcast. Thanks so much. Bye.
Hey ladies, love the podcast. This is Melissa calling in to talk about summer plans. So I was originally planning to try to get a house for the month of August with my girls, but recently, given all this time I had to think thoughts during the pandemic, I realized I'm not going hard enough. I'm not dreaming a big enough dream, and I'm out here working hard for this money with no kids. So, I'm building generational wealth for who? My nephew? Nah, he good. So we're going to take this money and we're going to spend it. And instead of doing a month in like Connecticut or the Hamptons, and especially since I have to go back to work in September, we're going to do August in Greece. Maybe a little bit of Turkey, but Greece. And we're going to use some of this money and we're going to spend it. I got it. I spend it. So, really proud of myself, really, for taking this step. Really nervous, never made such a big commitment in terms of traveling by myself. I'm hoping some folks join me, but, I'm committed to dreaming a bigger dream. So wish me luck.
I love that. And I love vacations, but vacations are expensive. So I know that I definitely need some more change in my pocket. So, what side hustle, Vanessa, do you have for us today? How to make that moolah?
All right. So I was thinking long and hard about side hustles this week. And I started thinking about this idea about, a lot of businesses kind of didn't do well in the last year. A lot of businesses closed. But there's some of these big businesses that are still doing well and thriving. And so I think I'm going to call this week's side hustle, if you can't beat them, join them. All right. So I'm going to tell you about 3 companies that are huge, that almost too big to fail, if you will, and ways that you can kind of like side hustle their hustle. So the first is, I'm going to start with the first one, which is the biggest one, which is Amazon. So we will not get into the philosophical debate about how they're crushing small businesses. This is just about how you can make a little money because they ain't going anywhere. So they have part-time positions right now for stylists. So if you have great fashion sense, and especially if you've had any sort of actual experience in fashion, they're looking for part-time stylists to help with this new section of their platform. Have you heard of Amazon Prime Wardrobe? Have you heard of this?
I've seen the name, but I don't know much about it.
So Prime Wardrobe is clearly them trying to compete with Stitch Fix or like Trunk Club. So the concept here is you can get up to 3 to 8 pieces of clothing. So it's not every single thing on their website, but it's a lot of things. You can order 3 to 8 items. They come to your house, try on whatever you want, send back what you don't want, keep what you do want. You have 7 days to try it on, send it back. They don't charge you until after the 7 days. Whatever you keep is what they charge you for, and then you can send back what you don't want. So you get to try things on at home. I think they realized that this was a really big space they were missing out on, particularly during COVID, because people weren't going to stores. So, this was a way for you to shop and, you don't have to leave your house. So now they're really trying to expand it and have where, they're using like a full on CRM, customer model to have people actually start to know like, oh, well, Kiki kept those 3 items. You start to get a sense for what your style is, and then you can start making recommendations for other. Oh, she likes that white boy summer, tank. She might also like this other tank over here. So it would be someone using this information in this database to help make clothing recommendations for people and sending them out stuff. So this is something that they're doing, which is a part-time job. You can go on Amazon Jobs or whatever, and you can look that up, and they're open every day, and it's something you can do at home. It is a work from home job. So that's nice. Something that you can do. Another one, which I will not go really much into, that falls under Amazon. I'm only going to talk about it because a friend of mine closed her beauty salon and opened this business instead. Also in 2020, I thought it was really interesting. It's not a side hustle. It's an actual job. It's a full-time job, but it is being an Amazon delivery delivery service partner. And I was just shocked at the numbers. So they look for people who are usually previous business owners who have proven, this isn't something for like, if you're just like right out of school, you've already managed a business. You've already shown that you know the ins and outs, accounting, and, and being able to lead a team, being able to hire, motivate people. So this is someone who's got real life business experience. Okay. But you partner with them and you manage a fleet of their vans, and you have like 40 to 100 employees. So it's your own company, but it's like you're a third party vendor with them. Anyways, it's pretty crazy. They are looking for people to partner in every part of the US. You can go on, I think it's logistics.amazon.com, and you can read all about it. But the revenue is pretty crazy. So they make anywhere from, in revenue, 1 million to 4.5 million a year. But the take home is like average, like $300,000 a year. But it's a real job. So this is not a side hustle. Yeah, this is a real job.
Yeah.
A fleet of delivery. They're opening up distribution centers all over the place. And so again, they're taking over. If you want to slide your way in to figure out how you can, then that's an option for you. All right. Next up is one of my favorites, Ikea. So weird fun fact, I grew up in Woodbridge, Virginia. And, one of the places I grew up was Woodbridge, Virginia. And there's a mall there called Potomac Mills. And they had the very first Ikea that was in the United States.
I remember I was there opening weekend with my family.
You remember?
Yeah. It was a big deal.
Yep. It was such a huge deal. And for many, many, many years, that was the only Ikea in all of the United States. And it was so close to my house, I could literally walk there. So I have grown up my whole life with Ikea, but not realizing like nobody else had it. Yeah. But I grew up my whole life having it. And, my mom bought a lot of like, furniture items from there, especially for like kids' rooms. But I am weirdly, it's such a dumb skill. I feel like this is the typing from last week. I know how to put together Ikea furniture like a fucking pro. I'm so good at it. Do you remember when me and you put that wardrobe together?
Oh, yeah.
When you lived in Spanish Harlem, I came over and we pulled out the wine and we just got to going, and we built a whole wardrobe in record time in a tiny studio apartment because we're just really good at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ikea is another company that did really well during the pandemic because people were like power nesting. People were like, if I'm gonna be in the house all the time, I want my house to be like comfortable, like cozy. And so they made really good money last year. People were definitely sprucing and upgrading. And there's tons of companies that, again, they piggyback off of this existing company. There's company called Semi Handmade, Cabinet Face. I mean, these aren't companies for you to go work for or build, but it's just to show that like these are kitchen remodeling companies that use IKEA's cabinet, like the guts of it, and then but instead of having the cheap
slice
fronts,
it up.
Yeah, they make it really, really fly because, like Ikea does have all the really cool, like the way the drawers open and stuff. But sometimes the actual faces
like
or the hardware, exactly, is super cheesy. And so these companies have built their whole business model around this, other business model. So that's a super smart thing to do. And TaskRabbit, TaskRabbit.
Yeah.
You can call people to come and do you can call someone to go stand in line for you at the sneaker store for the new release of something and pay them to just be like a line stander. But TaskRabbit has a whole relationship with IKEA. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but they ended up realizing they were doing it anyway, so they just partnered with them. Okay. So if you are good at assembling furniture, you can be a TaskRabbit, and you can specifically be a TaskRabbit that helps people put their IKEA furniture together. So that's like a random thing if you're good at building stuff. So anyways, coming up with ways to partner with IKEA. All right. And then the last company that, can't beat them, join them is Airbnb. So we're talking about traveling, we're talking about vacationing, and that hotels aren't really hotels anymore. What's the point if I don't have room service? I think people are also definitely opting for Airbnbs if they can find them, just because it's a different experience. But there's tons of ways to make money piggybacking off of Airbnb. So I'm just going to list a few. You can partner with hosts to do guided tours. So people coming to visit a new, my I guess what would you call her? She's like my niece. She lives downstairs. She just went to San Diego, and their host had all of these like options that you could upgrade to. So you need to reach out to the hosts or whatever, but you can offer guided tours. You can offer bike rentals if you have bikes. You could have you could do that. You can offer to do like airport pickups and drop-offs for people coming in and out who are staying at Airbnb. One of the things that like makes the most sense, obviously for me, is like chef services or event services. So I know last week you went to a birthday party in Palm Springs and you guys stayed at a hotel, but pretend you had stayed at like an Airbnb and it was a birthday party weekend. You could hire someone to come and like do the whole birthday party thing.
We probably could have done it in this particular location because they actually didn't have, and I don't know if this is a COVID thing or always, but they didn't actually have a restaurant on site. So we actually brought our own food in. So it would have made sense to probably partner with somebody to do all the cooking and preparing. Yeah.
I feel like that's the thing too. Like when I hear people say like, oh, I don't really like Airbnbs as much as I like staying at hotels, because they always say the same things. They want to be able to order room service. They don't want to have to like make their own bed. They don't want to, they want to be able to just like do all of those things that hotels make it easy to do, not realizing that Airbnb, you can actually have those same services too. You have to upgrade, you have to add those, and those are provided by local people who live in the area, who you can hire a chef that comes every morning and makes breakfast for you guys. You can hire event planners. You can hire cleaning service that comes every day and does make beds and does laundry or whatever. So those are ways that you can sort of piggyback off of Airbnb, cleaning services, even someone who really, really knows the city well, that you're traveling to, that can make almost like a concierge that can make reservations at restaurants, that can help you get tickets to things. Like if you were someone, like if someone was coming to New York, I would 100% be able to tell them where to eat, where, help them get a reservation. We just had this great restaurant that got a Michelin star. I'm friends with the maitre d'. Maybe I could get them a restaurant reservation. We just opened this little island in New York that everybody's trying to get to, and you have to make timed reservations. So those are the kinds of things that, if someone is really well versed in their city, they can make extra money being almost like a concierge. So so that's it. This week is all about can't beat them, join them.
Use your own services to piggyback off somebody else who has the infrastructure already in place and just make the money. I mean, look, why not? You're still making money for yourself. I love it. Well, coming back, I want to share with you a really crazy story that I think you'll enjoy. So the other day, I'm scrolling through TikTok and this girl pops up and she's telling a story. She's definitely like retelling it from somewhere, and I don't really know where she's retelling it from. And I'm thinking she's retelling it from this Reddit because I found the same Reddit thread that told this story, and it was really insane. And I want to know your thoughts, obviously, because it's so crazy. So it's under a thread, in Reddit, they have a lot of acronyms. And so it's AITA. And so in Reddit world, AITA is, am I the asshole? So it's AITA for getting mad about my mom marrying my fiance's dad. So basically, this story is about this woman. She's a 24-year-old female. Her fiance is a 24-year-old male. They've been together since their sophomore year of college, so around 5 years. Now, her mom is a 50-year-old female, and she said for context that she had an affair with a coworker when, the daughter was 16, and that's what led to their divorce. So she's been single ever since,
Just for context, my mama was a hoe. That's so rude. So rude.
So, she has a really good relationship with her dad, and the dad is remarried. So she has a good relationship with them. And then her fiance, his mom had passed away like 2 years before. And so his dad had been single for a couple of years. So her fiance proposed last year, but their wedding was delayed, of course, because of COVID. And their families had never met because his family lives in South Carolina, and then they're in North Carolina where they went to college. So 3 months ago, they decided it was time for their families to meet up, discuss the upcoming wedding and all of that. And it said that this went well, albeit there was some tension between her mom and her dad, like, the ones who'd been divorced. So she says, then this morning, they have met, whatever, everything's good. This morning, she says, out of the blue, my mom called me and announced that she had eloped. I was shocked as she had not been dating anyone to my knowledge. Upon questioning, it turns out she and my fiance's dad had been dating in secret since the meeting in January and had married in secret yesterday, making my fiance my stepbrother. She said, I thought about
God.
that I should now cancel my wedding because it would be inappropriate to marry my stepbrother. I was absolutely horrified. I shouted at my mom saying she just loves ruining my life, called her selfish. First she cheated on my dad. Now she went and married my fiance's dad behind my back.
Oh my God.
My mom then said, I was still young and I have a chance to meet someone new, but she's old and has to take every opportunity she's got. And that the daughter was being an ungrateful bee for not approving of her marriage. And then she accused the daughter of wanting her to die alone. The daughter then, goes on to the audience and she's like, I don't think I'm the asshole, but I just wanted to make sure because ultimately I don't want her to have to be alone, even though I think she did that to herself by hurting my dad. I think I should be allowed to marry my fiance as we first met. I'm also 12 weeks pregnant with my fiance's kid, so that complicates matters more, but they haven't told anyone yet. And she was basically like, am I the asshole for being mad about my mom marrying my fiance's dad because she says I can't marry my fiance anymore?
Oh my God. I was not ready. I am still not ready. There is so much to unpack. Oh my God. That's crazy. Okay. I don't even know where to start. First of all, I will say that they knew they were wrong because they eloped, right? Like the fact that they did it in secret tells me that they knew there was something not cool about it. Okay. Like they knew what was up.
Yeah.
Second of all, I just don't know how you do that to your kid. I understand feeling like, I mean, I'm not 50 or whatever, but like, I can understand, she's divorced and she's an older woman and she's probably worried that she won't find love again. So she met someone and had a connection, but also like, you can't do that to your kid, man. You can't do that to your kid.
Well, here's the thing. You definitely can't say to your daughter that you can't marry your fiance that you've been with for 5 years. That's absolutely wrong. I do understand, obviously, why they were dating in secret because, I think that I keep a lot of relationships in secret because, you just have too many questions to answer when it's like too public, right? But then getting married in secret is a whole other thing.
Also, why do they have to get married? Why do they have to get married?
I mean,
what's why get married?
Well, obviously they had a whirlwind affair and they must have fallen in love. Like, you never know. You can't predict who you're going to fall in love with, right? They met and then all of a sudden there was chemistry and there was a connection. So I get that. Here's the thing though. Okay. This feels obviously totally weird because your mom is married to your fiance's dad. But obviously there's like no actual familial connections there. It just is an awkward way to explain how you know each other. But here's the thing. I don't, this isn't something I do, but I would see it on TV. So I don't know if that's a real thing. But a lot of times sisters on TV would like meet brothers together and then they would date the brothers together. And I've definitely seen on reality shows where sisters have married the brothers. We don't think that that's weird. And I've always thought that was actually more weird, but it's not because, it's just sisters dating brothers. But I mean, we don't look at that strangely.
Oh no, we have you and I know the same person. We have a very good friend who's same, two sisters married two brothers. And it's why she looks so similar to her cousins, because her cousins are like have almost the same like gene pool, because like it was two brothers and they both married two sisters. And yeah, I guess I've never thought it was kind of interesting, because I'm like, oh my God, you guys look like sisters. And she's like, oh, that's because, our parents and blah, blah, blah. And I just, I didn't think it was weird, like in any kind of way, but I just, and the girl was dating the guy for quite some time, right?
They were dating for 5
daughter.
years. So,
that's
it's
like a long time.
The mom is clearly selfish because like you can't just say to your daughter, like, okay, well, I met this guy and we got married in 3 months and now you have to stop. So like, that's completely wrong on the mom's part. She should have never done that. Like she should have just said to her daughter, like, look, I'm really attracted. And I'm sure the daughter would have had no problem with it. Like, it would have felt weird at first. But, like, if her mom had explained the story, she'd be like, look, I want you to, like, be happy. And obviously, like, if he makes you happy, like, do it. It would only be weird if, like, it was sort of the opposite way. Like, she had met this man after she divorced the husband. And then the guy and her met as they were teenagers. And then they started. Then that would have been a whole other thing. You'd been like, no, you can't date your stepbrother. I know you didn't grow up together, but like, that is weird. But this way, it's not strange. The mom is just, I think the mom is being selfish. And
yeah, she's super out of pocket. She's real out of pocket. Did they live in the smallest town ever? Like, she really thought this was her one and only chance at love again? Like, really? Like, you had to do this? Like, come on.
I mean, it was North Carolina, South Carolina. I will say this. I mean, during COVID, if you were on dating apps at all, I am so ready to be off dating apps, because it did feel like the end of the world. It did feel like I was like, if this is all I have to choose from, then I guess that I'm going to be happy as a single woman for the rest of my life, because like what I'm finding on here is garbage. And then it was like, even just this weekend, seeing people again that weren't the same people I talked to every day. Oh, it was so nice. I felt like, oh, I can be attracted to people again. I can flirt with people again. It was like really nice. And I remember I do well in person. My MO, whenever I go anywhere, it's like find the nearest dive bar and that becomes my home. And then I just meet all the locals and we become friends. And like, that's how I've met like everyone I've like dated, like usually. So I think it was just a matter of like, this is like the first probably attractive guy she'd even been around.
Yeah, but she like dated him in secret and then married him. And like, I mean, at this point, your daughter is a grown up. She's like, she's an adult woman. She's young. She's in her 20s, but she's an adult woman. And, she should have given her the respect of telling her that she had, fallen for him. She should have given her she didn't need to ask her daughter for like, I would say like permission, but she should have given her the respect of even just telling her about it and that things were progressing really quickly. I just think like the way she went about it, which kind of sounds like her steez, not to judge, but I mean, she sounds like she just does whatever the hell she wants to do. And she really doesn't care how it affects other people. I mean, it's how come she's divorced once and she may end up being divorced again. But, and poor, this widow, I feel bad for him. Like he's just fell for whatever she was putting down. But yeah, you don't make moves like that. And then to try to guilt trip the daughter, like she's not going to stay with the guy that she's been with for 5 years. You wouldn't even know this man if it wasn't for me. Like, stop it, lady. No.
I'm shocked that the dad, if the fiance, if his wife had passed away, it would seem that him and the son had a pretty good relationship. I'm surprised he kept it from his son. So like they were both in on it, which is like what, like you were both being like shady. And I mean, at least you eloped so they don't have to endure going through your wedding. You will, I don't know, will you I guess they'll invite them to the wedding.
You know, I like to editorialize and just make up endings because who knows what's going to happen. But here's what I think. I think that this isn't going to go well. You know, this guy was a little bit, sexmatized by this woman in the middle of a pandemic. Who knows how long it had been since he'd been in a relationship, since his wife passed away. She could very well be the first woman who dated him, since his wife did pass away. She sounds crazy. Guys love having sex with crazy girls. Crazy girls are usually really good in bed because they're crazy. And so I think that he's probably sexmatized, and somehow she convinced him to elope with her. But shit's going to get real because the world is going to open up. There's a grandchild on the way who I'm sure he would love to have a relationship with. And that poor grandchild is going to be like something they're going to dangle and be like, I don't know if I want my baby around you and your poor decision making. And it's all going to go kind of left, and we're going to see how it goes. But in the end, I know that dad is going to want to have a relationship with his grandkid and his son, and who knows what these guys are about. And after a while, he's not going to want that drama anymore. And I think this lady,
sure,
she's going to end up twice divorced. That's just my prediction. We'll see how it plays
That's just
out.
my 2 cents.
It's just my 2 cents.
I know. I hope.
We'll see how
I'm gonna bookmark this Reddit thread and see if we get any updates.
Keep us posted.
Yeah, keep us posted. Oh my god. Well, so much fun. I can't wait till next week. Also, remember, if you aren't following us on Clubhouse, go do that. You can follow me at The Talk of Shame. And Vanessa, where can they follow you at?
I think it's just at Vanessa Contab.
Okay. So follow us on Clubhouse. We do like a little weekly sort of just like mini check-in just to like gossip, sort of just an extended happy hour. And of course, always follow us on our Instagrams. Same at The Talk of Shame at Vanessa Contab. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe, rate, and review. Moms vs. Aunts will be back next Monday.
Thank you for listening, and thank you for tuning in. Thanks to everybody who's been rating and reviewing and subscribing. We really appreciate it. And we want to be able to keep this podcast going for as long as possible. So tell your friends and everybody. So we'll see you next week.
Ciao.
Bye.
Moms vs. Aunts is brought to you by CafeMom. Our theme music is composed by Coney Island Music. We want to hear from you. To give us your comments, leave us a voicemail at 929-265-0277, and we might include them in the show. You can also reach us by email at momsvaunts@gmail.com. Remember to rate, review, and follow Moms vs. Aunts wherever you get your podcasts. And for more parenting stories, real talk, and entertainment news, go to cafemom.com.